Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. With this video, I'm gonna unfold some books and movies that I recently fell in love with. In fact, before making up my mind to make this episode, I do hesitate a bit because I really don't consider myself a knowledgeable person, and books and movies can really be a private thing that's full of subjectiveness and personal taste. So this video is really not for recommendation, but only to share my list as a reference if you feel like grabbing something new to read. So if you're curious about my collection, just keep watching. The first one is called Normal People. I came to this book only because that British TV series. I love it so much. But gradually I feel like becoming addicted to the author. I actually bought all of the 3 books of hers just because her writing is so going into details and just strike your soul so hard, especially in describing the thinking and emotion of people. So it's like she has that inborn talent to capture those tiny and advertent beauty in daily life. And when it comes to people, she just turned to be a detective, like standing next to the characters, observing and recording every emotion of them in order to speculate what this person is thinking about and what actions will they take next. Just like the way we're peeling the onions, the author is trying to dig into people's heart step by step through her writing. And back to this book, I don't intend to uncover too much plot of it, but I could say it's a classic work that reveals a subtle yet special sentiment between 2 high school students and how their love to each other goes through a bumpy road full of tests of life and entanglement of other social relationships. So they show us what a healthy relationship looks like, not only between the romantic partner, but also friends and family. I could say we learn to be a well-developed person after reading this book. And for the other 2 books of Sally, the author, the one is called Conversation with Friends, and the other is Beautiful World, Where Are You? Also a bestseller. I'm still in the middle of reading these 2, and I could say perhaps they don't enjoy much fame as Normal People, but they're still full of appealing and detailed descriptions and really worthwhile reading. Actually, in last term, I was still into reading books that has more practical function, like Talk Like Ted, On Speaking Well, or How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, written by Bill Gates, and so forth. But reading this book made me feel like I am accomplishing some tasks, but not really enjoy the content. But it's all different when reading the novels. They can just drag me out of the reality and bring me into a totally new world. You could say it's a form of escape, but it's not like binge watching or playing games that will more or less create some anxiety after you're doing that. In contrast, reading a novel is something that can really calm me down and make my attention focused, then distracted when doing that. And when it comes to movies, I haven't watched a lot these days, but I do have some documentaries to highly recommend. The first is called The Green Planet. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of the documentary on nature, but the moment I clicked in, it just grabbed my heart tightly that I can't stop watching episode by episode. At this time, the camera focuses on the plant by mainly using the time-lapse technology, so that we are able to closely watch the growth, the competition, and the cooperation among those plants in a perspective of plants itself. Just like we belong to one of them and our flesh just mixed with the stem, the leaves, and the buds of these plants. So not only we can appreciate the spectacles that we may never have the chance to see by ourselves, but also we can gain a sea of knowledge about the nature that won't appear in the biology textbook. And except being awed by the power of nature, but I also have the chance to see how arduous this work is to showcase this beautiful world by camera. Like in the sidelight of each episode, we see how tricky and troublesome for those professionals to make one perfect scene. Sometimes even need to, observe and shoot the same thing every day for a whole week, only to collect maybe the video clips for only a few seconds. So to sum up, I do think this documentary has its educational meaning and value for the whole civilization. And here, I'm gonna attach one of my favorite clips. Hope you enjoy it.
The plants that grow in water are probably the least noticeable. They're certainly the least studied. But the more you know about the problems of living in that way, the greater the wonder of their success. Surely they deserve more of our attention and, most importantly, our care.